Mountain Gardens. It's about the middle of September. And I want to look at this beautiful plant, which is tea. Green tea, black tea, oolong tea, whatever. This is tea, Camellia sinensis. It's a camellia, so it's related to those ornamental broadleaf evergreens that flower in the autumn and winter, and here it is flowering, just starting to flower really. There's still a lot of buds on it. The middle of September. So I've been trying to grow this for a while. This is of course a really famous plant. I'm not going to go into all the virtues of tea. There's massive amounts of information out there about green tea and black tea, which is fermented green tea. There's varying ways you can process tea. I've been trying to grow it for quite a few years with very little success. I planted it around my house, kind of in light shade. And the problem with it is it's a broadleaf evergreen, and we just have pretty severe winters. It would just get more or less destroyed in the winter from wind and storms and everything. It would be practically defoliated. It would just barely kind of come to life by the end of the next summer, and then it gets zapped again. So then I saw one of these that was growing in a terrific amount of shade, like really deep shade, and doing very well. So I had the idea to try and transplant it into a rhododendron thicket, which we have in abundance here in the southern Appalachians. So this is going to provide shelter. The rhododendrons are evergreen too. So I'm kind of experimenting with the edge of the rhododendron thicket, and then we got some right in the rhododendron thicket. These are super happy. I mean, I never had one flower this much before, and these were only set out this spring. These are just incredibly happy, even though we're having a drought here. So we're going to get probably a nice amount of seed off of these. Last year I set out a bunch of little ones in my rhododendron thicket, never occurring to me there'd be any problem, and a rabbit came along and nibbled them all right down to the bone. So this year I'll wrap them with row cover until they get a little size on them for a couple of years. These are seedlings that we planted from seed collected last winter. Fresh seed germinates really well. You can see almost every one of them popped up a couple of months ago, so I'll be dividing these and repotting them. That's one way to propagate it. You can also propagate it from cuttings. So the majority of tea is like about a zone 7 plant. But we have a nursery down in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Camellia Forest Nursery, which has about a half a dozen hardy clones from Korea, and there are other hardy clones available other places. It does go up as far as Korea and maybe even Manchuria and so on. So if you're in zone 6, you definitely want to look for one of these hardy strains. Just don't try any old tea. And it's a pretty good sized shrub. When it's happy, it'll gradually build itself up. I don't know what the ultimate height is. The biggest ones I've ever seen are about 5 feet tall. Nice and bushy, beautiful glossy green foliage. So really nice plant to grow. And if you have a rhododendron thicket, give it a whirl.